The Finals MVP. It's decided by 11 voters from the media, but how it's decided isn't all that important, because there's typically a clear winner. It's one of the few things in the NBA that's not often disputed. Today, it's technically called the Bill Russell NBA Finals Most Valuable Player Award. Each year, Bill Russell hands over the award to the player who performed the best in the finals. There's just something moving about one of the NBA's greats from way back giving the award to what is likely one of the best players of today. Most recently, it was presented to Kevin Durant, which was no shock to anyone. Even with a team full of all-star level players, he was the one we all expected to win it before the series even started. But sometimes, it's presented to a player that few would have expected going in. This is a list of those players. Not saying that they didn't deserve it. It's a list of players that rose above expectations and made themselves known in the finals. In fact, most of these players really had to be phenomenal to be noticed when there were bigger names playing alongside them. These are presented in chronological order. The first one of these occasions was fairly recent, in the 2015 finals. Golden State was the winner, and if you didn't watch the series, you would think Steph Curry would be the finals MVP, because after all, he was the season MVP. Well, not the case. It was Andre Iguodala. A few years before, he had a much bigger role on the 76ers, but on Golden State, he was a reserve, coming off the bench every game of the season. But starting 3 of the 6 games in the finals. Shockingly, he had a better three-point percentage than Curry, but with many fewer attempts. And from the free throw line, he finished with a less than impressive 36%. A finals MVP shot 36% from the free throw line. What really separated him and earned him the MVP was his defense. LeBron was the opponent and the only hope for Cleveland that year, and he was somehow getting it done, taking a 2-1 lead. But when Andre stepped in with one of the greatest defensive performances the world has ever seen, LeBron was contained. Golden State won the next 3 games to take the series in 6. Many people thought at the time that LeBron should have won it. He received 4 of the 11 votes. It brings up a good question. Should the award go to the best player on the winning team or the best player on the court? I can see it both ways, but ultimately I think it should probably go to a player on the winning team because after all, their efforts helped win the championship. While LeBron's efforts were outstanding, they were meaningless. So I do agree with this decision. But either way, I'd like to hear from anyone in the comments that predicted Andre Iguodala over Steph Curry for Finals MVP in that series. The next one on my list is the Finals MVP of 2007. It was as a member of the San Antonio Spurs. I think we all would have expected it to be Tim Duncan. Within the previous 5 years, he was a 2-time season MVP and a 2-time finals MVP with 3 overall. This isn't the most shocking one on the list. The two are comparable in skill level throughout the season, but in the finals, I would expect Duncan to be the one to step up like he had done so many times before. But this series was all about Tony Parker, averaging 57% from the field. But same as Andre in 2015, struggled from the free throw line, with 53%. But he still scored 24.5 points per game and was just the star of the series. And even though LeBron was on the court, this time nobody fought for him to win it. Parker over Duncan may not be the most unexpected, but I would still like to hear from anyone in the comments that predicted Parker over Duncan in that series. Third on the list is from 1992, when Michael Jordan won the Finals MVP. I'm just kidding, everyone saw that coming. The actual number 3 goes a little further back, to the 1988 Finals. Finals MVP was James Worthy. 1988 Lakers, you would expect Magic Johnson, right? And if you didn't a second ago, here's why you might think that. Michael Jordan was the season MVP this year, but Magic took it the year before and 2 years after. So you can imagine the level he was playing at during this time period. Not to mention the Finals MVP the previous year was Magic Johnson. And the fact that in the finals this year, Magic averaged 21 points and 13 assists. But James Worthy played some phenomenal basketball, leading his team in points for the series and leading his team to a victory in the all-important Game 7. In that game, he had 36 points, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists. If you ask me, a triple-double in Game 7 of the finals should be an automatic induction in the Hall of Fame. So winning Finals MVP wasn't much of a stretch. I'd like to hear anyone in the comments that predicted Worthy over Magic for Finals MVP in that series. The next one is from 1980 when Magic Johnson won it. It may sound a little contradictory to the last segment, but it's not a joke this time. Since this Laker team featured a 32-year-old Kareem and a rookie Magic Johnson, few people would have expected Magic to win it going in. But once the series was over, few people could deny it. In Game 5, Magic scored a finals triple-double, and in Game 6, Kareem was out, and Magic was asked to take his place.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to really take up a lot of slack.
Tremendous pressure for any player, let alone a rookie. But Magic rose to the occasion. He didn't just get through the game, he dominated it. 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists, while playing center, forward, and guard. Kareem had the great series that everyone expected from him, but Magic's just couldn't be beat. He won the Finals MVP as a rookie. To this day, the only time it's ever happened. I'd like to hear anyone in the comments that predicted Magic over Kareem for the Finals MVP in that series. The earliest occasion is from the very first year the award existed, 1969. It was presented to Jerry West as a member of the Lakers. So what's the catch in this one? Jerry West winning the Finals MVP is not exactly shocking. Well, the series was between the Celtics and Lakers, and the winning team was the Celtics. The issue we spoke about earlier, a Finals MVP being awarded to a player on the losing team, happened in 1969. And only in 1969. Since it was also the first one ever, there was a time where the Finals MVP had never gone to a player on the winning team. And following my earlier logic, it should have gone to a Celtics member. Probably either Bill Russell or John Havlicek. Russell averaging 21 rebounds and 9 points, and Havlicek averaging 28 points and 11 rebounds. But looking at the stats, and that's mainly what I'm referencing since I can't say I'm familiar with this series, but looking at the stats, West was the best player on the floor. 38 points, 7.4 assists, and 4.7 rebounds. He shot 49%, which isn't incredible, but it was only 1% shy from leading all players. The leader was his teammate, Wilt Chamberlain. I think I'm probably the most impressed by this one. Just looking at some of the players in this series, it was quite a task to separate himself and do it in such a degree where he won it as a member of the losing team. That has to be respected. But I have to think if this was in the modern NBA, the award probably would have gone to someone on the winning team, but 38 points per game is hard to argue. Another quick note about this one, the award is now named after him, and this was Bill Russell's only chance to win the award. It was the first year it was presented and his last year in the league. It would be cool if Bill Russell himself won the Bill Russell Award, but it simply was a result of bad timing. If it had been a thing 10 years earlier, Bill would have had a shelf full of them. But I suppose having the award named after you is a much higher honor than winning it anyway. There were several other occasions that could have potentially made the list, but I felt these were the 5 most unexpected and most unpredictable. I could have made a list of 10, but it just wouldn't have been as strong. However, looking at the list of winners of the Finals MVP, I can assure you this award goes to the player that everyone expected far more often than not. And that's why these 5 stand out so much. Let me know in the comments if you think there are any winners that should have been on my top 5 list, or if there's any names on the list that you think should be removed. There's a lot of opinion involved in this, so I expect to see some arguments. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Thank you for watching. If you like this video and want to see more in a similar style, be sure to subscribe by clicking the logo so you know when I upload a new one.